If you ever felt like, oh my goodness, I'm an adult and I have no clue what to do, then stick around for this next video because I'm going to show you what you need to do in your 20s and 30s to adult successfully. Hey guys, this is Hope Said It, back with another Hope Said It Uncut video for you. Today we're talking about adulting. We know that adulting does not come with a manual. So as you graduate high school, enter into college or career or military, or whatever you decide to do, coming out of that and realizing I'm an adult now and I really don't know how to do this. Like, you may just be paying bills, but there's different things that you need to make sure you have in a holistic level to make sure you're adulting successfully. Disclaimer, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert in this subject, but I learned a lot and I don't want you to wait as long as I did to learn some essential things that could set you up for success in adulthood. I included everything I'm about to talk about in this week's blog post at hopesaidit.com, but I'm going to go more into depth with this video. Now, the first one, and I'm not going to go in a specific order, so don't think I'm prioritizing it, but the first one is to define your personal and professional goals. You may think you already did that in high school and college if you went and things like that, but reassess and make sure you're not following someone else's passion. As a Nigerian, you know, you have the big three. You have doctor, lawyer, and engineer. And so you have to make sure that you didn't get into it just because your parents wanted you to do it and that you wanted to make money. You have to assess and make sure, does this make me happy? Because I know some people in the medical field right now who are forced to do it. Horrible. I would never ever call them if I had a problem, because they don't do it out of passion. They just do it because it's textbook. And if you don't have a love for something, you're not necessarily going to grow that much more in it willingly. And I'd rather have a doctor who has a passion for it than whose parents thrust them into it. But that's neither here nor there. Just make sure that you're knowing in your 20s and 30s, hey, here are my passions, here are my strengths, here's my weaknesses. What am I doing now? Does it go in line with it? And if not, we got to jump ship. You know, gone are the days where you have to be stuck in somewhere. Reassess, and you can always reinvent yourself along the way. The next one is investing in self-care and well-being. Now, that's so important, especially if you have a hustle mentality. Sometimes you're going and going and going and not realizing that you have to sit down somewhere. You have to rest. If you don't rest, your body will rest for you, and it's going to be in the most inconvenient time. So just set time to rest. Take those PTO days. That's something I struggled with before. I wouldn't really take vacation. I'd be like, nah, it's fine. But trust and obey, you need to. If you ever leave a job, if you get laid off from a job, they'll replace you like that, you know? So don't think you're doing someone else a favor by not resting and taking care of you. Because if you're not at 100%, you're pouring out, but depleting yourself. So you don't want to empty out an already empty vessel. And not just physically, obviously mentally too. Assess your surroundings, because when I tell you, as you grow older, peace is so important. I know the drama is, she said that, he said this, blah, blah. No, as you get older, that peace of mind and peace of just having the right people around you who make you feel how you're supposed to feel instead of people that you have to be guarded against or anything like that. That is super valuable. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, both physically, emotionally, and of course, spiritually as well. Make sure you stay grounded. Y'all know I believe in Jesus Christ. So make sure that you're growing your relationship as well, spiritually, so you can just be an all around holistic and better person. Now, this is a main one people think about when they talk about adulting: building financial literacy and stability. What did that mean? Know how to use your money and know how your money is working for you. Just know about the hard stuff. And I know this is especially hard for those people who, like, I was a broadcast journalist major. So I was not trying to take the highest math classes. So anything numbers wise, I was like, yeesh, have fun with that. So a lot of people, if you're not good at math, you just don't even care. Like, oh, stocks, it sounds so hard. Oh, compound interest. I don't want to hear anything about that because it sounds hard. But that's your money you're talking about. So now I have gotten to a point that, yeah, I don't really care for the numbers and stuff like that. Like, algebra was probably the last subject I had where I was like, yeah, solving for X is cool. Once it got to like trig and calculus, I was like, keep your X. I don't need to know the value of X. But now I'm at a place where if it's about money, I'm gonna find out. You know, my math is impeccable. When is it about my finances? I'm like, hold on, because 10% equals this. So why would you say this? Because it's your money. You can't be illiterate when it comes to your money. And that starts with something as simple as creating a budget. How much are you bringing in? How much are you spending? Start that granular to where, hey, what's coming in? what's coming out and making sure you have a profit at the end of the month. Because if you are spending more than you are making, you're already at a deficit. And what are you doing? So making sure that you're not racking up credit card debt, because that's not your money. That's not money you add to your budget. If you are having to live off of a credit card every month instead of just, because of emergency purposes from time to time, that's a problem. And you're living above your means. So we have to figure out how to either A, generate more income, or B, spend less. Obviously, the best combination is both. Make more, spend less. But you just have to be that basic in your money habits. And then that's when you can start learning. Like me, I started reading about it and listening to audiobooks. It wasn't fun at first, but once you learn, you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting because it's the real life application. So I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Power of Compounding and just different things like that to where I'm like, okay, let me learn more about money, the basics of stock markets. And that's a big thing you have to learn about. So before you already think like, oh, that sounds so hard, start with budgeting. Start with getting your money in order. Start with knowing what's going on in your household. And then you can start planning like, okay, now we're talking about building up savings. Now we're talking about building an emergency funds. Now we're talking about planning for the future. What's my 401k look like? What does my IRA look like? What does real estate investment, that it grows upon each other, but you got to start at level 1 before you build upon that. If you don't know your budget, if you don't know your income outcome, no, then investing is something that, is above you. But once you go from the basics and master that first step, go on, and then slowly but surely you'll be leaps and bounds. Just don't be in the same place you were so that next year you can be like, okay, I can go to the next level. I master this and I can go to the next level because it's your money. You want to make sure it's doing what you want it to do. I spent more time on that than I thought I would, but it's important. So I wanted you to know that. Next one is cultivate meaningful relationships. Now, what I see a lot, especially in people in the 20s and 30s, it's harder to make friends, obviously, because you're not just having those school people or those work people. But what you should not do is just take people from the past who are familiar. So I know a lot of people like to say, we were best friends since kindergarten, since 3rd grade. And so y'all are keeping on to that, but y'all are just keeping on to the time. You guys have changed. You guys have evolved. Y'all don't even feel each other like that anymore. But you just want to keep saying, we've been knowing each other for what has it been, 25 years? That's what you want to hang on to. Now, if the relationship still works for you both, cool. But if not, just reevaluate and it's okay. I don't talk to plenty of people from my childhood or from past stages. Everybody's for a season. So you just have to let it pass and do inventory and make sure you're always checking up that, hey, people who I reach out to are also reaching out to me. This is a reciprocal relationship. This is not one-sided. Also, you need to continue learning and developing skills, not just in your major necessarily, but just learn. We're in an age of information. I mean, we have way too much information. Sometimes it's a gift and a curse, right? We just have information everywhere, but take that and make it a gift so that you can learn different things. You can YouTube stuff, go to credible sources, just learn something, always grow a skill. If there's something you don't understand and you're really wanting to know more about it, there's no reason for you not to. We're in an age where you can do that. Yes, you went to school for this, but now I want to do this and I can do it. So never be afraid to learn. And really, even if you're in your passion already, there's other things to learn. It's a lifelong learning process. That's what life is. You always are learning something new every day. And that goes hand in hand with seeking career advancements. I think sometimes people get comfortable where they are. So if they've been somewhere for 5, 10, whatever years, they're like, nah, this is the devil I do know instead of the devil I don't know over there. So make sure that you're not selling yourself short by just staying in this comfortable box and exploring other career opportunities that you can do, because that's the easiest way, financial experts say, to get a raise is to leave your company, because you can stay at a place even if they give merit raises. You can get 2-3% a year steadily, or you can jump somewhere else and go ahead and get a 10% raise. So that's why they say staying at your job is going to cost you more money, because you can't jump around and negotiate and ask for more money like someone who's on the job market. But it's always a give and take. That comfortability knowing a new job. And it's not always about money, right? Sometimes it's about flexibility, especially in these times. Is there a remote work available? I will do hybrid. What's going on? But just making sure that the job fits your lifestyle. Gone are the days where we're necessarily begging a job to do something for us. What can you offer me as well? And why should I work for you? Now, I also said to travel and broaden your horizons. Guys, I'm not a traveler like that. I've been out of the country maybe 3 or 4 times. And, 2 of them were to Nigeria. And then the other time was for my honeymoon. We went to St. Lucia. So I'm not going to act like I'm some world traveler. What I meant by that, like you can, and that's cute. It's great to see other cultures and stuff like that. That's not really my personality to up and travel. I don't know. I just like staying staying local. I don't know what it is, but traveling doesn't do anything for me. So what I mean by this is just get outside of your town. Like, you'll be shocked to know that people who graduated in high school, college, whatever, they never left the town. That's so weird to me. If you grew up in a town and you have never left that town, are you crazy? You know how big the world is? Like, can you at least go to the next town and then go 30 minutes away, then go an hour away? I know places. I have lived places. I have been places, and at least read up on places or something. But it always makes me cringe when I hear someone like, oh, no, I've never been there. So you never been to that town 30 minutes away? Have no reason to. I'm like, You need to expand your horizons. And if you either physically or financially cannot go somewhere, then I would at least say, even if you can't drive somewhere, whatever, transportation issues, I would say, read up on it, read credible stuff, because there's a lot of stereotypes out there, but, National Geographic and just different things so you can learn about cultures. Because I may not go places personally, but I can hold a good conversation about something like, oh, yes, these people of this tribe. Yes, I've read about them. So traveling, yes, it's for you and it's fun and all that good stuff, but it just helps you understand other people more and understand, oh, this is what this culture does and this is why they do this, instead of acting like your way is the best way and that's it. Next is to prioritize mental health. Now, I know I already talked about self-care and well-being, and that's part of that, but specifically for mental health, there's a lot of people who have trauma. You might have childhood trauma. There's a lot of unchecked trauma, and mental health is becoming less of a stigma, but obviously it's not as widely accepted as it could be. So just know that if you went through something, especially if you just want to do some maintenance checking and make sure you're not going to get in the worst space later, make sure to prioritize your mental health, because the brain is a powerful thing. Everybody talks about, oh, physical. That brain, ooh, if your brain is not right, that could hinder you a lot in life. Just make sure you find the right therapist and read your Bible as well. I had to throw that in. Also, contribute to your community. Now, just like traveling, you realize that the world is bigger than you, and you realize that, as corny as it sounds and as cliche as it is, you have to be the change you want to see. So if I want to complain about something and be like, man, they never do this, man, the CPS process is this and that. I just saw I was like, dude, these foster kids and CPS, they're overworked. This system is crazy, and it's not to blame anybody, because these CPS workers are working 60 plus hours a week, and courts are doing this and that, and there's a lot going on. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to be a CASA volunteer, and that's a court appointed special advocate for children. So if they were seized from their home, you're the person, you're that stable person, making sure they're where they need to be in placements, making sure they're good in their placements. And sometimes you're the only stable person that is there for them during the whole mayhem of a CPS case. So that's what I decided to do. So I'm not going to act like my contribution is the greatest thing, or that impactful, but it impacted that one child. And that's what it is, a child at a time. And your cause could be something different. You could be like, I hate seeing animals, blah, blah, blah. So volunteer at your local animal shelter. So just think outside of yourself, and that just makes you a better person as well, to do things that you're not going to get anything for. The people can't do anything for you or anything like that. It's just you doing it because you're trying to give to society in a positive manner. Next is to celebrate your heritage and culture. Now, I said this specifically because when you're growing up, it feels like you have to assimilate, right? You're just like, listen, we just trying to fall in line. You're trying, like, especially elementary school. If I stand out, I'm gonna be called something. I wear glasses, I'm four eyes. If I get braces, I'm brace face. I just want to keep it normal, keep it cute. I don't want to bring any attention to myself. So especially when you have children of immigrants like myself, you're like, oh crap, my parents have an accent and they wear these outfits that y'all don't think is cute. Now, whew, excuse me, now everybody thinks they African. But anyway, when I was growing up, it was not as cool as it was today. But you get to a point where you're like, forget that. I am very proud of where I came from, and that is what it is. And if you want to make fun of it, I'll just be like, oh, you're so ignorant. And just turn it around on them and let them learn more. Now the same people who are making fun of me from being Nigerian are like, I gotta go there someday. They will not accept you. No, I'm kidding. But I'm saying, now is the tables turn, so just be true to yourself, because everybody else, that changes. Culture changes. But if you're true to yourself, that's really what keeps you grounded. And it's just good to know where you came from, because if you know where you came from, you know where you're going. If you know where you came from, you know the struggles that everybody else faced, and you'll be like, you know what? I'm standing on your shoulders, and I'm not going to let you guys down. I'm not going to let God down. I'm not going to let myself down. So it just helps to have that extra dimension of yourself as you grow up. And also plan for your future. YOLO nothing, okay? Like, no, you need to plan for your future. There are so many people living in debt, racking up these costs that they can't afford because they know they're going into bankruptcy, and bankruptcy does have a cost, and that stays on your record, and then you can't buy it. Like, don't be stupid. Okay. Don't find yourself in a situation because you wanted to do something now. Don't make long-term decisions on some emotional, temporary type thing that you're in right now. That's not smart, especially when you're in your 20s or 30s. I started this a little late, but when you're in your 20s or 30s, I've always had savings, but just thinking about retirement, your 401k, thinking about investments. People think different things. I think if you go with some people's financial theories, they're like, retirement, no, you need to start a business and real estate and this and that. What? Real estate? No, you need to, do the stock market. Whatever theory you want to go with, either way, that means plan for the future somehow. And you need to start investing in the future somehow. So whether that be investing for your next property, whether that means investing in the stock market, whether that means investing in someone's retirement plan, do that. Because as I read in The Power of Compounding, I think that was it, you see how, wow, a penny compounded over 30 days. It's crazy. So you really learn the power of little changes here and there. And I utilize that in my own life. I'm like, you know what? If I could just get 10,000 steps, if I could just eat 200 calories less. It's not the drastic change, but over a month, over 2 months, you'll be like, oh yeah, I did that. And it wasn't that hard. It was just little changes made over a period of time. And I think in this day and age, especially, we're all like the quick wealth. You go on social media and it's like, how I went from 0 to 1 million in 30 days. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool for you. But really what the most common way is just, it's boring. It's just slow, incremental, and being consistent and habitual with the way you save and invest. I'm not saying anything's wrong with those, but also you have scammers. So it's a whole thing. And that's why it's important to be financially literate and stable. So it all ties in together. I did not make this out my butt. Okay. It all ties in together, and just making sure that you're set up for success. I know this was an extensive list, but if you just take a couple of those, or use this as a barometer to be like, where am I in adulting? Am I doing what I need to do? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Ooh, I can take this and learn today. Then you succeeded. Like I said, it's the power of compound, right? So if you take one thing and say, I watch this, I'm at least going to do a budget. Okay. So I'm at least going to inventory my friends. Good job. You have done good. And I'm glad I could help you make whatever change you needed to make. Guys, if you don't know, I do videos about marriage, motherhood, hair, and life. I had playlists about all of them, different topics within that genre. And even when it comes to money, I know I have a video about saving. And even if you're not an extreme couponer, things you can do in your household to save, because every dollar counts, right? Check out the channel. And I can't wait for you to watch the next video. Also, you can check me out on social media. I post daily there on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I am going to get rid of my Twitter, I'm sure, because this is just so blah. but I'm on Threads as well. So I'm probably gonna put like a post like, hey, just follow me on these other channels because this ain't it. And of course, my blog post is at hopesaidit.com. So you can just check out my previous things as well. And then do the typical like, share, notification bell, blah, blah, blah that they say, you know, smash the blah, 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 whatever. Just comment and all that good stuff that you're supposed to do as well. I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm out to dry.